We've done some things different with this F100. Can you guess what they are? This is our latest F100, and I'm sitting down so I can give you an angle and a clue to two things that we've changed on this truck. So where we're shooting from right now should give you a good idea of the two new things we've done. One of them is pretty obvious, and I'll reveal that slightly earlier in the video. The other, I'll be very impressed if anybody can get. As always, answers below. We will get on now with the rest of the video. We will start by talking about what this truck is. It is an F100. It is a two-wheel drive street truck. And again, like I normally start with in these videos, they're either for sale or they're not for sale. This truck is already sold. It is a custom built for a very good friend of mine called Keith, a fantastic customer who came to us with a very specific vision for the F100. And because this one has a couple of those special features, we really wanted to focus it. So it's not available for sale. It's not going to be up on the for sale page, but it is something that we want to share with our audience and talk about because it does look really cool. Let's start with, as we always do, the paint color. The top color is called platinum, and basically it's a silver gray or platinum metallic. It looks absolutely fantastic. All of our paint work is done in-house, all of our body work is done in-house, and Keith's truck is no exception. This thing looks absolutely brilliant. When you get close to this, it almost has, because of how much metallic fleck it has in the paint, a pseudo satin finish, that's a hard thing to describe. When you get up close to it and the light hits it, there's almost so much metallic in it, it almost has like a texture to it, and that kind of is almost like a satin finish. Anyway, it's a really, really nice color and works great on the top level of this F100. The lower color, of course, is a white. When you go to these Street Series trucks, and this one is our upgraded Street Series, this F100, you get the option to do a two-tone paint. This white is actually called CM2. It's a custom white, so it's not a super creamy white, but it's also not an ice white. It's somewhere in the middle, just a nice off-white, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks really, really nice. So platinum for the top color and a CM2 white for the lower color. Let's come around the front of the F100 then, and if you've watched these videos before, you're going to know this is the setup that we do on these F100s. We've got Ford lettering across the hood as always. We have the big chrome grille that we use on all of our vehicles, or all of these F-Series I should say, and then of course the lower chrome bumper as well. In between that, the plenum here has been painted in that matching white. One thing you're going to notice straight away is these headlights. They are a brand new JW speaker headlight, and because this truck has a bit more of a street look, a bit more of a modern look, we went with this LED light. It just kind of fits the style that Keith wanted to go with. But yes, a brand new LED light system. Final thing as always to note is going to be the Velocity Flying V emblem in the grille as well. They're really nice little detail, but just brings everything together with a little bit of subtle branding. We'll come down the side of the truck now, and I'm going to talk about the parts that come with that Street Series package before I reveal the first thing that is new, right? We'll start with the parts that come with the Street Series package. Hood side marker lights. This is a complete billet surround custom piece made on our 5-axis machine. Really nice as part of that Street Series. Continued then the side mirrors. These are the same mirrors that we use on our Broncos as well. They're a completely custom billet piece, again made here in-house. Really, really nice. And then finally the door handle as well here. That is a all billet brand new door handle. Super premium, feels great. The actual button is really nice to actuate. That is an upgrade. Another thing that you get when you go to the Street Series is going to be that beltline trim that runs all the way alongside this truck. It is a bump side truck, not a dent side, so it's the earlier 70s, the bump side, and that's what gives it that definitive name, is that kind of bump on the side of the truck with that chrome trim piece in there as well. All right, without further ado, on to the first thing that is new about this F100, or custom should I say, and yes, of course, it's obvious, that is the rims. These are a Forgeline OE1. Finished in gunmetal grey. Our friends at Forgeline put these together for us, and then we've added a custom Ford Motor Company hubcap onto each of the wheels to give it a really classic street kind of look. Obviously, they're a dish style rim. They look absolutely amazing on this truck, and the paint color almost exactly matches that platinum up top. It's just slightly, it's a tone off, but that's by design because the hubcaps themselves are another tone off that again. So something in the middle there just to finish finish off, but it looks really, really nice. All these wheels look really nice. We've never done anything quite like this before. We have tried it a couple of times with the deeper dish rims on our K10. We do a Scottsdale wheel there on the K10, but for this application on this F100, they look absolutely fantastic. And of course, our friends at Forgeline build immaculate rims. They do make absolutely amazing wheels. We love their product. We use it on all of our Street Series products, all of our Street Series vehicles, and this being no exception. But we have never fitted the OE ones before, and I think they look absolutely fantastic. Come down the side of the vehicle then, and you're going to see the tailgate. This is kind of more standard again for our Street Series. You do have the chrome surrounds here. You do have LED brake and side marker lights here at the back. You obviously have a matching chrome bumper as well, and the Ford decal that's dropped in here, as well as the Velocity Flying V. The party starts a little bit more when we get to the tailgate release. This is again part of the Street Series package. This is a brand new billet tailgate release handle, all one piece, absolutely beautiful. Even has the Velocity Flying V etched in and the rear view camera built in there as well. Really, really nice piece for our F-Series trucks. Dropping the tailgate, and this is where things start to get a little bit more special. And you can see that what we've done here with Keith is we've put in a black wooden bed liner, and this thing looks absolutely fantastic. It's kind of a glossy matte finish. It looks amazing. There's a really nice grain in the wood, really lovely patterns. And then of course they've got some chrome struts all the way through, and it just looks really nice. When we do these trucks, if people are not gonna kind of use them regularly and throw things in the back as you would in a normal truck, this wooden finish just really does wrap everything up in this bed and makes it look really nice. That, of course, with the sides being painted as well in the platinum and the back of the cab, it really does make the truck look very, very showy, very pristine. Honestly, it's almost like a piece of jewelry when you open the tailgate. It just looks really, really nice. So anyway, black wooden bed liner there in the back of this truck. Let's come on to the interior now. We'll give you a walkthrough. And again, some of the stuff is really, really special. Take a good look at that. And we'll start with the door panel. Really, really nice. This is completely custom. This leather that we've gone into, and I'll talk more about it in a second when I actually start sitting down, is an off black. It's almost like a really, really dark gray. It has a lovely grain to it, this leather. Really, really nice. And immediately I can smell, just opening the door, you can smell the leather. So this is a leather, it's not a vinyl, hand wrapped door panel. And again, of course, completely custom in Velocity fashion. So we make these door panels in-house. We design them ourselves. They're not bought from anywhere else. And they just look amazing. They're a really nice blend between a modern and a classic look. Because it's the Street Series, again, you do get all of the billet components. So the door handle here, which almost acts as another armrest with the leather top and a little bit of padding, the cup release, the door release cup, all of that's really nice. And again, finished in billet. You can see the Velocity logo etched in there as well. And of course, the electric windows operator. They look like an old manual school winder, but of course you press them down, you pull them up, and the electric windows operate. We also have a custom speaker panel here, speaker cup, and that's really, really nice. That behind there is a focal speaker system, full focal speaker system in this vehicle. Because it's a street truck, it's a low truck, I don't have to have a step, so there's no powered step on this one. I can just step straight in and talk you through a few more things on this interior. Seat, of course, is really comfortable. Noticeably on this one, there is perforation. We'll come on to that in a second. But really, really nice, comfortable bench seat. I love the bench seats. They're great. In front of me then is a Spark Industries billet steering wheel. It's the steering wheel that we use in all of our F-Series street and heritage products. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's been finished again in the black leather, coming around really, really nice with the lighter gray contrast stitch. That looks incredible. Behind that is a tilt steering column. Really nice feature. Just gives you a little bit more flexibility in the cabin dependent on your size and your seating position. And what I love about these Street Series and Heritage Series vehicles when people do the upgrade is this whole column becomes painted. Normally it would be just a powder coated black, but of course it's been painted with the platinum metallic from the outside, and man, this thing looks absolutely amazing. Behind that again then we start to talk about the Dakota digital dash. So that's the instrument cluster. It looks like an old school Ford F-Series instrument cluster, but in fact it's brand new. It has a couple of really cool little screens in there, so you can see your current live speed, your remaining fuel mileage, temperatures, pressures, all of those things. So you obviously do have your normal instruments as well, and they work as you would expect, but you do have those screens that just give you a little bit of modern day touch, a little bit easier to read. Other things to note here are going to be my light and wiper motor controls. These have been upgraded too as well with billet switchgear, so that's really nice. And we'll come on to the rest of the interior now. We'll swap around. All right, let's take a closer look then at this leather. The actual leather name is Night Sky, and like I said earlier, there are a couple of different things that are playing into this leather. The color is a black, but it does have a real nice gray undertone to it. It's a very light black or a very dark gray, if that's such a thing, but it looks amazing. It smells amazing. So for the side bolsters, the central seat here, all this area, we've gone with just a smooth finish. And then as you get the inserts, and this is our plaid stitch, they have kind of a more worn look, and they kind of look a little bit more rustic for the inserts. These are actually fully perforated. So for the main passenger and the driver, these seats are heated and they are cooled. A lot of times people ask, well, what modern features and convenience stuff can you have in these trucks, Tom? The answer is you can have basically everything, especially for comfort. And yeah, the cooled seats in this are really, really nice, as are the heated ones. And that's what kind of gives it this overall perforated finish, just so we've got the airflow there, of course, to allow the cooling functions to work. But that's a really, really nice feature. I love this bench seat, and I do think it works really well matching in with the platinum. It's a little bit darker than that exterior paint color, but it does just look absolutely fantastic, especially with this lighter gray contrast stitch that's gone in here as well. Just gives it a little bit of boogie, a little bit of wow factor when you open the cabin. Let's talk about the carpet really quickly. It is a black carpet in this one. What you're going to notice here is these are actually removable mats. They're rubber backed, so you can take those out, you can clean them, and then there is full noise, vibration, heat proofing underneath an actual fixed carpet as well. So those mats just give you the best of both worlds. They protect the main carpet, and you can clean them off. They're also Velocity branded, which is really nice. Moving up then, you've got the AC plenum, and this has been finished again in that Night Sky leather. Really, really nice. Backed all the way around, finished brilliantly by the guys in our trim shop. And so we have a brand new vintage air AC system in this one. Switchgear again is going to be the billet, because you've gone to the Street Series. Keith wanted to do that. He just liked the more modern look of the Street Series, and so that's no exception. Little screen here in the middle, and that'll give you a target temperature. So it is an active system. You can set it to, 70 degrees, 69, wherever you want to be, and it will just cool the cabin and regulate really nicely. I love these systems. They work very well. We're here in Florida. It gets warm. These systems work. Trust us. Above that, then again, you've got the infotainment area, and actually this whole central piece of the dash has been finished in the lower color of the exterior, right, which is that CM2 white. Looks really, really brilliant. It's giving, again, the exterior color and bringing it inside, giving you a kind of idea between the leather, two leather pieces here. It looks amazing. And in there, we've got a double DIN infotainment system. It's an Alpine touchscreen system that can run Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that good stuff. It powers the Focal speaker system. There are two speakers in each, well, one speaker in each door, and then more speakers behind me here, including a big sub. So the sound system in this truck sounds absolutely amazing. But also that's where the rear view camera appears, right? So if you have rear view camera, you put it in reverse, boom, it pops up there. So that works really well like a modern truck. Above that is the dash pad, and obviously sometimes you'd think, well, the dash pad's just the dash pad, but because of the choice of the leather here and the light coming in through the windshield, you really see when you sit in the driver's seat just the texture and the grain in this leather, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Billet pieces for the vents here on the top as well, and then moving up you do have the same thing here with your sun visors and a full leather headliner also finished in this Night Sky leather. That's about it for the interior, but I will tell you, sitting in here, again, it smells absolutely amazing. It's very comfortable. I could see myself going on, long drives, which of course this truck can do because of the drivetrain, which we're going to come on to now. All right. Let's come on to the drivetrain of this vehicle. Now, with it being a Velocity, it does have a brand new engine, and because it's a Ford by Velocity, yes, it has a brand new third generation Coyote. It's a 5-litre V8 producing around 460 horsepower, so lots and lots of go. These F100s, given their stance and also because they are a shorter, smaller truck, they do not weigh that much. I kind of compare driving these to driving a Mustang. Honestly, these handle and act and feel like our fastback Mustangs, but in truck form. So this engine is more than enough power. Of course, there are lots of things that you could do with this engine. You can do Whipple, supercharged, you do all sorts of things on this, and we could do it. But really, do you need 700 horsepower in this application? In my opinion, no. This thing will still put you right in the back of the seat, and it will get twitchy on you if you really, really floor it, because it is a rear-wheel drive lowered truck. So 460 horsepower in this one. It's not just about the power though. Of course, it is also about the maintenance and the serviceability of this engine, right? So super reliable, easy to work on. That was something when Keith first approached us, we talked about in detail was, hey, Tom, can I use this vehicle every day? Keith, of course, has other vehicles, right? But he wanted to buy a truck like this that he could actually enjoy, that didn't just sit in his garage, that he could really drive. And that's what this engine does. It isn't just about the power, it's also about the reliability and maintenance, ease of that, being able to take it to local Ford dealerships, all of that good stuff. Behind the Coyote, you do have a 10-speed automatic transmission, the 10R80, super smooth, easy, comfortable, not in the high rev ranges when you're cruising at highway speeds. Really, really a nice transmission. We use that in almost all of our Ford products, right? Unless somebody opts for a manual. We do often get asked, do we offer manuals? And we do. We offer a Tremec, a 6-speed. So that is something that if you wanted to build a truck like Keith's, you could opt for as well. But for this application, we did the 10-speed. Really, really nice. Disc brakes all round this truck. Really, really nice. The Hydro Boosted Willwood system. Again, it's important to us that you don't just have the going power, you have the stopping power as well. So Willwood disc brakes all round. Custom headers on this one. The Velocity Serpentine system, which is really nice. Underside of the hood has been finished in the platinum as well, as has the firewall. But like all Velocity vehicles, the internal of the engine bay and actually the underside of basically the whole vehicle and the top side where it isn't carpeted and where the truck bed liner is, below that is that Raptor lining. So you do have a really high-proofed, strong-wearing bed liner as well, covering the rest of the truck, which just gives it that longevity. Final thing I really like are the blacked out hood hinges here. These are a full billet piece, really, really nice as well. Make it easy to lift the hood, take a lot of that weight out of there. And again, for applications like this, if you were going to take it to a show, I don't know if Keith is, but it just gives you that really nice look when you do pop the hood if you're going to show in the engine bay. So that's about it. The next thing we're going to talk about would be the chassis, but before we do that, I'm going to shut the hood and talk you through and prepare, because that's the second thing that maybe you did or did not notice that we did differently on this truck. So the stool is back, and that's so we can give you the angle so it's clear. I can show you what I'm talking about, and the second thing we've done differently on Keith's F100. So all of our chassis come from a company called Roadster Shop. We love the guys at RS. They build all of our aftermarket chassis, this F100 being no exception. So it is on a 4-link coilover spec chassis from the guys at Roadster Shop. However, normally that setup on a Velocity F100 does have a slight lean forward in the front end of the truck. And this is designed really because it's the look that we like, but also we felt that it gave the most, the best way to describe it is the best handling feel during aggressive driving, right? When Keith inquired, he wanted to do something just a little bit more classic, still a street kind of truck, but maybe not as aggressive that front lowering kind of gives. And so what we did was we fitted an extra 2-inch spindle in this vehicle. So we've lifted the front end in basic terms by about 2 inches. It didn't affect the coilovers, it didn't affect anything really with the suspension, just gave a little bit more clearance and overall gave the truck more of a flat, balanced look, which I think as we finalize it, as we put it together, actually does look really, really nice. It looks really nice for this application with these wheels rather than the multi-spoke wheels we would normally do from Forgeline on these F100s. It does look a little bit more middle ground between the classic and the modern. With the multi-spoke option, you know, it does look more aggressive, and so the kind of lowering of the nose makes sense. But here, I do think Keith made a really nice choice. And I'm going to see here in a second, I'm going to drive the truck for the first time and see what that change has made in terms of the driving feel. I don't know if it'll have made a lot of change, maybe it's made some, not sure, but we'll see. Anyway, that was the second change. So for those of you who guessed it just by seeing the truck, well done, because it is a bit more subtle, right? But that's the change in the suspension and the driveline that we've done here with the chassis. Straight away, I do notice a very subtle difference in the front end response to bumps that the 2-inch spindle and that slight lift of the nose has given. It is subtle, right? But I definitely do notice it. There's just a touch less vibration, reverb, bounce when you come across a bump. The road that we do first section of the test drive on is particularly unforgiving. When you have a pure street machine like our F100s are normally, of course, you want the chassis to be really tight, right? You want the control. You don't want things to be too soft. The change that we made to the front end has just taken the edge off that a little bit. It's still nice and tight, but it does feel just a touch softer in the front end. We're sitting here at 50 miles an hour, again on a not particularly forgiving road. And this thing is just not squirrely, not floaty, just really nice. Just drives really, really well. Good opportunity to check the brakes really quickly if somebody pulls out. And I have no worries whatsoever in being able to stop. The hydro boosted brakes just give you really, really nice pedal feel in these trucks. The brakes feel like they're responsive when you need them, especially if you put real pressure on them, but they don't jump at you. They don't bite. It's not jerky. So you do feel really comfortable being able to drive and stop, knowing that you've got in the stopping power if you need it, but without it being, you know, intolerably responsive. You know, in a truck normally like this, of this era, you might be a little bit nervous about making a move like I just made, and actually, easy as pie. Cruising at 50 miles an hour, here comes the throttle. Oh yeah. Don't let these coyotes fool you, like I said earlier. You do that from a standstill or from a slower speed, you can start to feel it getting twitchy. It's just, in my opinion, the right amount of power for this application. It has all of the fun, it has the excitement, it has the thrill. You feel your stomach go a little bit. Even there, rolling from 50 miles an hour, the camera, you could probably see in the movement, we jumped forward, we were flying, you know, we were going way up, but it's manageable too, right? You do not want something that is trying to fight you and escape the road, escape traction in a rear wheel drive truck all of the time. That is not necessarily comfortable, sensible for everyday driving, and these trucks are built to drive every day. Plenty of overtaking capacity. That's another thing that I think people don't realize until they get in a vehicle like this without this sort of powertrain. When you're driving one of these vehicles, people are going to slow down, people are going to stop in front of you, they're going to try and take pictures. And also when you're on the highway, there are situations where you need to be able to accelerate comfortably and safely around other people. This truck allows you to do that. AC's running nicely, just holding us at 69 degrees. Just feels very comfortable in here. If we wanted to listen to music, we could. Full touchscreen here that we can hook up with Apple CarPlay if I want to put navigation on. I'm not having to shout as I'm talking. Keith had a number of other vehicles, and I won't talk about Keith's collection, but he has some really cool cars in his collection. I think, Keith, this is going to give you something that you haven't probably quite experienced before, which is the power and the performance that you have in some of your other vehicles, but in the platform, in the style of something from the early 70s, which is really, really, really cool. The other thing, of course, we have cooled and heated seats as well if we wanted. We don't need those today, but they're a really nice comfort option here in this truck. And we've got a USB-C and a USB 3.0 charging port as well, so you could charge your devices in here and again, hook your phone up. The Apple CarPlay, of course, works over Bluetooth, but you could plug it in too. This is a really, really nice thing to drive. And again, in big part, thanks to the guys at Roadster Shop for that chassis. You know, this is what gives me the confidence to just be able to drive this thing and also talk to you guys freely and think about what I'm saying and how I'm feeling without having to fight this thing, right? It's not floating around the road. Very, very comfortable, very easy to drive. So Keith, from me, my friend, I can't wait for you to get this truck. Big thumbs up. Drives amazingly well. It looks absolutely awesome. And I think just the guys in the shop have done an amazing job making those couple of small changes and being able to facilitate those to make something really unique to you. But you're gonna love this truck. I've loved talking about it. I've loved driving it. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this video.